Reasonable then has this intense media coverage been? Joining us to discuss this, Graham Smith, you saw him there, from the anti-monarchy pressure group Republic, and Rita Clifton, who is an expert on brands. Good morning. Well, Rita, let me start with you. Some people would say, people have been writing in to tell us from both sides of the argument, but some people are saying it has been overwhelming and just too much. Is it worth it?
This has been a huge TV commercial for brand Britain around the world. I mean, it has been worth hundreds of millions of pounds in terms of free publicity for Britain, tourism, our businesses and everything else. There's a short-term benefit in terms of the economy. There's also a longer-term benefit in terms of what people think about Britain and whether or not they want to do business with us. It means stability. There's lots about the royal family that is an asset to us in Britain, and also it's worth millions of pounds to businesses. And if we don't have successful businesses, we won't have the money to pay for many of the other aspects of civil society. It's a win-win all round.
OK, Graham, I'm imagining that you perhaps don't think it's win-win all the way round.
Well, no, I mean, the financial figures have been completely debunked in the Financial Times, which is not exactly a Republican paper, but I mean, you know, it just doesn't stack up. It doesn't, the monarchy doesn't bring in tourists to the country. It doesn't generate trade and investment. And in terms of branding, I mean, it does make people think about Britain. But what does it make them think about us? I mean, it makes us think that makes them think that we are somehow, you know, stuck in the past rather than the actual modern, vibrant, exciting, and innovative country that we actually are. So I don't think it actually represents us accurately or fairly.
So the people who are outside Buckingham Palace, for example, there are tourists outside Buckingham Palace, but that, in your view, has nothing to do with the fact that there's a royal family.
Well, when I was down there yesterday, as you saw, the crowds weren't any bigger than they normally are.
No, but I'm just talking in a sort of general sense.
They go down
people
there.
do go there.
No, of course, yeah. People go down to see the palace, of course they do. They go down to see Tower of London and they don't live there. So, you know, I've sat down with Visit Britain and said, look, you know, if we get rid of the monarchy, would tourism go down? And they said, there's no evidence that it would. And, you know, you only have to think about it for a moment to realise that people come for the history, and the history will always be part of our country.
OK, Rita, the difficulty with the benefits to brand Britain of events like this is it's a very difficult thing to prove one way or the other. And Graham says they've been debunked, but it's invisible earnings in many ways, isn't it?
Well, it's simple. It's very visible in terms of merchandising, in terms of tourism. I mean, tourism is our 5th biggest industry. So whether you argue with the figures or not, whether it's 2 billion in terms of short term, whether or not it's 44 billion, I mean, a value has been put on the British royal family of 44 billion in terms of an asset value. So you could argue with any of these figures.
That fiction is a complete fiction.
Well, it's not a fiction in terms of when you see the sort of businesses that are coming in. Merchandising, why would you have merchandising around the royal family if you didn't have the royal family in the first place? This is a living asset.
We are a multi-trillion-pound economy. We do not have to have a little old lady living in a big house in order to make money. It doesn't make a slightest bit of difference. And it's slightly unfair to all those people that actually work hard in the tourism industry, that do actually do the job of bringing people into this country, to say that it's all down to William and Kate and the Queen.
This is sort of rapidly turning into a sort of, should we have a monarchy or Republic argument, which is not really what we want to focus on at the moment. It's simply this week, has it all been too much? It is. I mean, it's been broadcast around the world. We saw the cracking champagne open on the breakfast programme down in Australia. So it has been a world news event.
A media event, certainly. Most of the people around the world and in this country aren't that fascinated. They'll watch it because it's on the news. But you know, that's about it. They might be curious as to what the baby looks like and what its name is. But that's not really justification for the huge scale of rather intrusive coverage as well, because, you know, having journalists standing outside speculating about how long she's been in labour when it was conceived, I mean, it's just slightly odd. And it does raise questions about the freedom and quality of this child as well, because already everybody's saying this child has to be in the armed forces, has to be Church of England, Anglican, has to become head of state. You know, that child needs to be free to decide their own future and not be told what to do by the country.
I mean, you're a brand specialist, aren't you? So let's talk about it. And, you know, that is all part of the whole mix as well, isn't it? You know, the one thing that can be seen from what has gone on in the last 48 hours or so is that his parents, are pretty good at actually managing what they want going on.
Absolutely. I mean, the royal family is a professionally managed brand these days, and it's professionally managed not only in terms of how it presents to the media, but also what it does in terms of broader business. This is good for the UK. This is a living asset for the UK. And there is a combination now, not only of tradition, which is good actually for perception of brand Britain, because people who want to work with Britain around the world, businesses around the world, they want to believe that we are stable, that we're secure as an economy, and the royal family does have that impact.
Germany is one of the most stable and prosperous countries that has managed to weather the entire world recession. I mean, how are we different?
We are different from Germany.
You know,
we have different traditions from Germany.
The point is,
Absolutely.
hang on a second. Look, the point is that, you know, when I talk to people from around the world, they're a little bit embarrassed for us, the fact that we can carry on with this nonsense.
We're clearly talking to different people.
Yeah, okay, back to, again, we're straying into the territory a bit, but regardless of whether Germany has a monarch or not, I bet they covered it a lot on the television news.
Absolutely, but I mean, again, it doesn't actually reflect well on this country. But also, the monarchy is
reflect well.
The monarchy is a political institution, and this is why this. I mean, they are well managed. They do their PR. The problem is that the media then just copy all that PR and broadcast it out to the world without any question or scrutiny, and that's a problem because it is a political institution and they are defending their political position and interests with the great help of the media.
Very quickly.
It is a positive thing for the UK, and what's more, actually, the royal family has modernised. William and Kate have brought modernity, and Kate actually is extremely good, by the way, for the British fashion industry, so there are many other benefits.
We could talk about this for another half an hour.
For a very long time.
Sadly, we haven't got the time, but thank you both very much indeed.
Okay, thank you.
You.